Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you've surely already heard by this point, the man, the myth, the legend, the somewhat infamous offensive genius, Bobby Petrino is back on the hill and is looking for redemption. And so today I'm going to give my thoughts on the return of Coach Petrino as the Razorbacks offensive coordinator and what that means for Sam Pittman and ultimately Arkansas football. And my first initial thought is really that Bobby might be exactly what Sam Pittman needs in a multitude of ways. In pretty polar opposite fashion to maybe say a Jimbo Fisher type of head coach who is so hands-on that it almost appears detrimental to their team at times, Sam Pittman is much more hands-off, sometimes perhaps to his detriment as well, but has a much more CEO mindset where he trusts, allows, and expects for his assistants to do exactly what they are paid to do, without him having to micromanage every aspect or feeling like he needs to take over. Sam wants and needs an offensive coordinator that can run the entire offense, and Bobby Petrino is obviously that guy. Add in the head coaching experience, which will be valuable to Sam in terms of game and clock management and situational decision making. And on paper, I think, once again, Bobby is exactly what Sam was looking for and exactly what we currently need. And I also certainly look at it from this standpoint. If I'm being honest, I thought we were in for a very depressing and toxic offseason where we just quite simply were not going to have much of anything to look forward going into next football season. But with this hire, Sam Pittman and Hunter Yurachek have somehow managed to revitalize and re-energize the majority of the fan base. Whether you like the man or not, I personally love him. I forgive him. I thank God that I'm not the same man I was yesterday, let alone 10 years ago. But regardless your personal thoughts or opinions on the man, as a play caller, I don't believe that there was a better, or key word right here, more realistic option out there for Arkansas than Bobby Petrino. And I also genuinely doubt that there was another offensive coordinator out there that wanted this job more than Bobby Petrino, that loved Arkansas more than Bobby Petrino. And stuff like that means a lot to Sam, and it means a lot to me as well as a fan. I'm certainly not going to go out on a limb and say that he is or will be the savior of this program or the savior of Sam's job, or that this means, all right, the Hogs are going to be at least 8-4 next season. I'm not saying any of that. There's a whole lot of other outside factors other than just Bobby Petrino that are going to determine whether or not we have a successful football program, one of the biggest being NIL, and oh yeah, transfer portal season. We have no idea what this roster is even going to look like, what Bobby Petrino and these other coaches are going to have to work with until we see things finally settle down at the end of, as I just called it, transfer portal season. It's never been easier to completely flip a roster in college football, but technically it's never been easier to lose an entire roster in college football. So like I just briefly noted, there's a lot of outside factors other than just who the offensive coordinator is. But speaking solely on the hire itself, I am very pleased. There's certainly not another hire that could have been made at this position that, as I talked about earlier, could have re-energized and resonated with Arkansas fans the way this one did. Still a long way to go and a lot to prove, especially after a 4-8 season. But having Bobby back on campus now does instill some of that hope, some of that confidence that I quite honestly did not have and believed I would not have heading into this offseason and into next year. We'll see what the coaching staff as a whole manages this offseason in terms of recruiting. We'll see what type of adjustments are made to the staff itself. For example, in case you haven't already heard, offensive line coach Cody Kennedy has already moved on and is no longer with the program. It's still wait and see, obviously, to know who else will or will not be here from both a player and staff perspective. And then the bigger question is, who inevitably replaces them. I'm really happy with our defensive staff after their first season together. I really hope to retain and keep all those guys together, at least for the most part. It was pretty apparent that it was time to move on and go a different direction on the offensive line, but I'm not really sure what to expect in terms of the rest of the positional coaches. However, I still find myself asking the question, will this be one of the greatest redemption stories in the history of sports, or is this simply the beginning to the ending of a tragic comedy? I reckon that only time will truly tell. But let us not neglect to enjoy the gift of the present. I want to know how y'all are feeling right now. Let me know in the comment section. Are you excited? Are you cautiously optimistic? Are you confident? Are you disappointed? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know. But as for now, that's all for now. So thank y'all for y'all's time. As always, thank y'all so much for all the love and support. Let's continue to grow the Rabid Razorback family by liking and sharing. And absolutely all Rabid Razorback fans' content is completely free. So if you'd like to further help the continuation and growth of this page, of this channel, of this community and family that we're building, please consider leaving a tip or a donation via PayPal or Venmo at Rabid Razorback Fans. Regardless, and until next time, I pray the good Lord keeps you all safe and blessed, and of course, go home!